A very good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television. We do hope you had yourselves a very productive Thursday. Now, these are headlines. The plenary session of the Senate approved the relevance of the draft law approving the ratification of the agreement between Rwanda and the UK to accommodate more than 30,000 asylum seekers. The parliamentary plenary session on Thursday approved a draft law adding the health service to the Rwanda Defense Force structure and granting reserve forces access to the army shop. We're very glad to have you coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. I bring to you the news is Martina Avera. Now, let us kick things off by letting you know that the President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, while speaking to the Kenyan television NTV, reiterated that the solution for the insecurity in the eastern part of the DRC is being searched from the wrong side by trying to disown Congolese problems. The head of state noted that the international community, including the big powers, tried to play the wrong card by shifting the problem to Rwanda.
It shows you there's something else at hand operating that people decided to ignore, and maybe it is also to perpetuate the problem actually. I think some people would be interested in keeping the problem going on forever, so they can use it for whatever they have in mind in the Congo, or they can use it against Rwanda in wanting to manage Rwanda the way they want to manage Rwanda. They use it against us. Or it's also to sort of look for an explanation and fend off the blame of responsibility they have had in actually what happened here in Rwanda.
The head of state further reiterated that when Rwanda's security is threatened, he won't need anyone's permission to defend the country.
When it comes to, therefore, defending this small territory of ours that has suffered so much, I do not need anybody's permission to do that. I think the message was clear. And I also tell them there are many people, big powers that were calling me, telling me, what I should do, what I should not do. So I said, I hear you, I appreciate you, but I'll make sure that there is not going to be any other firing of such artillery on Rwanda's territory. I have that obligation. That's why I live for that. That's why I'm there as president. And even before being president, by the way, I was also, in my small way, contributing to the fight to make sure that this country changes for the better.
As we move ahead, the plenary session of the Senate approved the relevance of the draft law approving the ratification of the agreement between Rwanda and the UK to accommodate more than 30,000 asylum seekers signed in Kigali on the 5th of December 2023. Prince Manzi has more.
Prior to the ratification of the draft law on UK-Rwanda agreement, the senators pointed out that at the forefront, it is a humanity that the country has shown to the international community, as many Rwandans have become refugees at different times and in different countries. Life is the priority, and that is why I applaud the government for accepting these agreements, and I concur. Often Rwanda does what others fail to do. You find big countries ashamed of what a small country like Rwanda is to do. I want that we stress on the implementation of this for anyone across the world to know that our country strives for human rights of each and everyone. Refugees here are aware, and those who don't know think that a refugee is a burden. No, we have to treasure the values of the country and look beyond the simple things. The 5-year agreement between Rwanda and the UK is limited to asylum seekers and those who will be having an immigration status. The Justice Minister, Dr. Emmanuel Shebuja, demonstrates how asylum seekers will be living after 5 years. As agreed, some will be having asylum seekers status and others immigration status. Someone with such status is recognized in some way at an international level and ought to be given with such status. Asylum seekers will be given permanent residence and be able to go on markets and everything. But the support will be all due to both statuses for these 5 years. As of June 2022, about 2,000 asylum seekers and migrants would have been the first to be welcomed in Rwanda if the agreement between Rwanda and the UK had not been challenged by members of the Labour Party. Dr. Shebuja reiterates there is a law passed by the government on asylum seekers and migrants in general, and that there is also an independent appeal commission that will be set up to accommodate those who are unhappy with the living means. While we reach here, request for an immigration office, any of the statuses mentioned, asylum seeker or migrant, and then if allowed, no issue is there. If not allowed, one is to appeal, and then the appeal body established we have to decide and provide a status based on either the individual or concur with the immigration office. Of the £370 million in this 5-year agreement, some will be allocated to the 30,000 migrants and asylum seekers, and the rest will be allocated to the Rwandan government through the national budget. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince Manzi, for that report. Now, the parliamentary plenary session on Thursday approved the draft law adding the health service to the Rwanda Defense Force structure and granting reserve forces access to the army shop. Sam Kalisa has more.
The plenary session of the Chamber of Deputies voted for the basis of the bill regulating the Rwanda Defense Force, which, when passed, the law will approve the addition of the health service to the 3 services of the Rwanda Defense Force. The Minister of Defense, Juvenal Marizamunda, reiterated that the Rwandan Army is positioning itself stronger for the present and the future.
Ingabo z'u Rwanda, RDF, bavuguruye imiterere y'inzego z'ubuyobozi zayo.
Rwanda Defense Force revised its establishment and organization structure so as to improve its governing in order to fulfill its mandate. The new thing is that the Rwanda Defense Force has been made up of 3 services, namely the Army, Air Force, and the Reserve Force, and now the Health Service has been added. In addition to the basis of the law governing the Rwanda Defense Force, the basis of the law establishing the Army shop was approved. On this, the Minister of Defense noted that, although the shop already exists and items are tax exempted, there is need for extra investment. In this bill, the Armed Forces shop was granted permission to carry out investments to be able to achieve sustainability. This has been going on, but now it is included in the law. MPs called for improvements in this bill for the interest of beneficiaries. If it is the shop for security organs in Rwanda, it should be looked at in a wider way. Private security companies can't be included, but other authorities like the NISS and the DASO should be looked at. The Ministry of Defense also noted that the Reserve Force will be included among the beneficiaries of the Army shop.
On Thursday, the plenary session of the Chamber of Deputies endorsed the framework for a new law governing the National Electoral Commission, introducing the establishment of permanent coordinators to replace temporary ones during elections. The proposed changes in the Electoral Commission bill are mainly based on synchronizing the new law with the Constitution. The Minister of Local Government, Jean-Claude Musabyimana, reiterated that the introduction of permanent coordinators will improve efficiency to the election proceedings.
Muri mushinga abakomiseri ba komisiyo y'amatora twateganyije ko bakora mu buryo buhoraho.
In this bill, we want election coordinators to be permanent workers so that they can be able to fulfill responsibilities of the Electoral Commission, considering the fact that the period between elections has been reduced. For instance, the presidential election used to be held once in 7 years, and that reduced to 5 years. Senators' elections, which has been happening once in 8 years, has also been reduced to 5 years. And that will be in the same period with elections for local administrations and the city of Kigali. For that reason, it is very clear that using temporary coordinators would not be easy because the period between elections is very small.
The presidential order determines the number of permanent coordinators appointed to the Election Commission. Rwanda is preparing for the presidential and parliamentary election in this July. Now, earlier today, Bank of Kigali signed an investment partnership with the European Investment Bank for a combined value of 100 million euros to support the agriculture sector and other green projects. Adam Squizera with a report.
This investment partnership, the European Investment Bank signed with Bank of Kigali, a combined value of 100 million euros to support the agriculture sector, and issue a statement of intent on technical assistance program on greening of the financial sector. Thomas Ostrus, the Vice President of the European Investment Bank, affirms one of the benefits of the signed agreements.
For a country's development, I think agriculture is key when it comes to productivity in agriculture and sustainability of agriculture. So when we have a partner like Bank of Kigali that strategically want to be part of that improvement and strengthening of the value chain in the agriculture sector, that is very important for us to be part of. To do it in a green way, to increase food security and ultimately increase productivity and thereby the livelihoods of families and farmers. I think for us this is key. We do it in many countries in Africa, and we are very glad to deploy this in Rwanda because we think there is a tremendous opportunity.
Dr. Diane Karusisi, the CEO of the Bank of Kigali, believes that the loan from the European Investment Bank will be instrumental in supporting the agriculture sector, which typically faces challenge in accessing credits.
We are also borrowing, so we have to deploy this money. And I told him that in the past we didn't have any expertise in that sector. So in the past few years, we had a strategy approved. We employed many people. We have agronomists in our team that were deployed across our branches that are mainly in rural areas, interacting with agriculture and farmers. We also went into a journey to design products in partnership with farmers, looking at what is the right products for them. And now we are in a position to start deploying financing. And I challenge him to come back to us in a year, and we'll show him how this partnership has increased lending to agriculture.
In addition to investing in agriculture projects, this bank has already partnered with the government of Rwanda on various initiatives in the health and infrastructure sectors. Herbert Asimwe, the head of the financial sector development at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, elaborates on these collaborations.
Let me thank you for having us here. Speaking about the European Investment Bank, they've been our partner for some time. They've invested in key sectors of our economy. They've invested in infrastructure. They've invested in energy. They've invested in the health sector. You will remember the COVID-19 resilience projects where they supported us on a number of fronts, including the laboratories, but also a number of areas.
The European Investment Bank and the Bank of Kigali signing targeted 100 million euros for sustainable agriculture financing initiative that will support farmers and agriculture businesses across the country to better withstand the economic, social, and business impacts of climate change. The intention to execute this investment partnership was initially announced last year at the COP28 and represents the largest ever European Investment Bank support for private sector investment in Rwanda. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
The European Investment Bank has supported transformational investment across Rwanda since 1977 and signed over 400 million euros in deals for private and public investment. This includes support for clean energy, water transport, health and business investment, and support for climate and business investment. Herbert Asimwe, the head of financial sector development in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, highlights some of the successful projects this bank has recently partnered by the government of Rwanda.
We've a couple of projects in pipeline. Some have already started. We've seen the interest in the volcano community resilience project. We've seen them with great interest in the Nyabugogo bus terminal to improve the urban mobility. But we are seeing them now in the agriculture sector, but mostly in greening the agriculture sector. They want to ensure that we are into sustainable agriculture, agriculture that it really takes care of our environment, and it's a great opportunity to work with them and see how best we can take care of our environment. But one other important project that is in pipeline right now is the interest in the Rwanda's financial sector. They are coming in with support, one on the central bank, providing them the necessary support to on the green regulations, green guidelines, green laws. But now they are also coming in, working straight with the financial institutions. They are coming in to work with Bank of Kigali with this facility of lending more to agriculture, but with a lot of sensitivity on green. But they're also engaging other financial institutions to ensure that the scope or the reach is big. So it's a great opportunity to work with them, and we commit to support them, and we really appreciate their commitment to the development of this country. We talked about their huge support in the health sector. I talked about the Rusiz 3 project, where huge money is coming into, but also a number of infrastructure projects that we are going to see them putting into practical financing, and I think a lot is yet to be done, and they've committed to support us even more because they have the trust in the leadership of this country and the development of this country. Thank you.
Heading over to the education sector, the Education Ministry revealed that 2,500 schools will be accessing internet by the end of 2024. And the students in schools accessing internet currently affirm its contribution in exploring new skills. Prince Manzi with more.
These are some of the students at JS Kachiru in Gasabo district preparing to participate in the international competitions to be held next week online. They say that technological skills are critical in both educational level and in their daily lives.
On my side, I think that importance of internet is to make life easier and help to access everything like lightning.
Yeah, internet helps me to search for things quickly. It makes it load very quickly. So the minutes increase. The more the internet is much, the more my minutes increase.
Trainers and investors in the education sector demonstrate that the internet contributed highly in the development of this sector, but mostly after the introduction of the fiber optic network.
Internet
changed a lot of things. Both learners and teachers use it and deliver on time, which is different from the previous times. And this results into students succeeding.
Really appreciate the quality of internet we have today. Let's take a look back before the pandemic of COVID-19. We had internet, of course, but the quality was not that good as of today this year. So through the system we made, which include student management system, some of schools didn't truly understood how the internet and the e-learning can work with them. But during the pandemic, students and teachers and their parents open up to the e-learning system, which also use the internet. And after the pandemic, the quality of internet continues to grow.
Claudette Tirere, the Minister of State for Education at the Ministry of Education, reiterates that through the Rwanda Education Network that already started in over 1,500 schools, will be completed with schools having a 2.5 times faster internet.
So the plan is to have all schools connected before the end of this year, 2024. And currently we have many projects going on targeting to connect all these schools. But the main one is the current project that we have is currently ongoing is the Rwanda Education Network, where we're connecting about 1,500 schools. And the beauty of this is that, yes, this is fiber, so this means it's stable, it's good. Secondly, the capacity of the bandwidth that each of the schools gets is a bit high.
So far in Rwanda, half of the schools have internet, and the schools with internet based on the fiber optic network are still 1,000.
Kedu PLC on March 13th announced its official membership in Women in Finance Rwanda, confirming its commitment to promoting gender equality and inclusivity within the financial sector. Women in Finance Rwanda is a platform that advocates for gender balance in Rwanda's financial landscape. As Kedu joins the organization, the microfinance institution aims to catalyze an inclusive environment that allows for women's advancement within the financial sector. Speaking during a signing ceremony, Raisa Muyango, the managing director of Kedu PLC, highlighted their vision of emerging as the leading Pan-African women's bank, which aligns with the partnership. She added, and I quote, "This partnership with Women in Finance Rwanda underscores Kedu's commitment to empowering women through innovative financial services. We aim to enhance skills through various partnerships, thereby developing and preparing the next generation of women leaders." During the event, 4 female employees of Kedu PLC were awarded scholarships to further their professional development in partnership with CISI. Kedu PLC is a microfinance institution that has been in operation for 26 years, offering financial services such as savings and lending to a diverse clientele. It is a special emphasis on providing loans to women. Now, on Thursday, the telecommunications company MTN Rwanda unveiled to the public a new smartphone called Ikosora Plus. It is a phone that people are happy with because it comes with advanced technology and it is cheap.
People say that the access to smartphones and at low prices will allow them to develop themselves, have access to a wide range of information, and go cashless. I have been having a smartphone for quite some time now, but in the past few days, the touchboard had been experiencing some issues. So when I heard that they were selling smartphones here and at a cheaper price, I had to take the opportunity. These phones are really helpful because I can make and receive business calls through it, which makes my work easier. It also helps us to go cashless by keeping our money on our phones through mobile money, as well as staying updated on news through social media. This phone is not so expensive. Anyone can be able to afford it. It helps with bettering communication because you can be able to speak or chat with someone abroad or even here in the country. In launching the second phase of providing smartphones and high-speed internet to the people, this activity was launched at the national level in Kigali district. The CEO of MTN Rwanda, Mapula Bodibe, says that this company has set itself with the goal that in this phase, most people should have access to technology and even the use of a low payment system to facilitate those who do not have enough money to pay.
We have a very big target to achieve more than 1 million customers connected on the Ikosora device. We want to make sure that every citizen in Rwanda can get access to the internet. We have a very good solution because a lot of people might not have 20,000 francs. So what we are going to do is we are going to allow them to pay for it with our Mache Mache program.
The Minister of ICT and Innovation, Kedu PLC, says that the first phase of Connect Rwanda focused on awareness campaigns, and it became clear that many people did not have enough resources and knowledge, which is why a way was sought that would be easier for the people. During the first phase, the goal was to create awareness, and through that campaign, we were able to find out various obstacles that the citizens might face when it comes to owning a smartphone. The two main reasons was the prices of the phones and the lack of knowledge of them. So the second phase has come to solve those two problems. We also know that for some, the issue of lack of enough funds may still persist, and that is why in the next few days, a campaign to solve that particular problem will be launched. This smartphone called Ikosora will cost 20,000 Rwandan francs, and if you buy it and add 1,000, you'll receive 1 GB of internet per day, 100 minutes of calls, and 100 SMSs for 30 days. This will also be accompanied by the increase of communication towers in order to solve the problems of connection that are often seen in some parts of the country.
And on that note, we've come to the end of our bulletin. And on behalf of the news production team as well as the operating system, we would like to thank you very much for sticking with us on RTV News. My name is Martina Avera. Stay safe and have a great night.